Big SOS today. Who's to blame for the Raiders' struggles? Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, or Chip Kelly? Plus, will the NBA ever come to Las Vegas, especially with this whole gambling probe? Plus, a little later on, Hall of Famer and Lakers legend James Worthy joins me here in the studio. Big SOS. Let's do this thing.
Make some noise. This is Sound Off Sports, sponsored by Silver State Schools Credit Union.
Yes, fire Chip Kelly, bench Geno.
Well, hello there and welcome. Thanks so much for joining us here on Sound Off Sports. I'm Mike Davis, joined by James Edward Barrickman IV. James, we asked everybody at home, who's to blame for these Raiders struggles? Because we're all struggling, the fan base. It's not a pretty time right now to be a Raiders fan. We asked, is it Geno Smith? Is it Pete Carroll? Or is it Chip Kelly? Who is to blame for these struggles? 702-855-3502. We got a lot of calls. James, let's get to the first one.
It's Dane from Laughlin. Another game lost by the Raiders. You know, I keep saying they need to get rid of Geno Smith, but I really think what they need to do is I think they need to reevaluate their coaching staff because Pete Carroll, I'm sorry, maybe Geno Smith at one time with Seattle was good. He's just really, really bad quarterback. Come on. Get rid of him. Get rid of them both.
All right, so, callers are upset, James.
Dane Laughlin, is that the guy that calls in about the complimentary orange slices? You remember that guy? Is that Dane?
So. We got a lot of great callers. Listen, here's my take, ladies and gentlemen. Chip Kelly is the highest paid coordinator in the NFL. He's getting paid $6 million a year, the highest paid coordinator in the NFL. And where do the Raiders rank offensively in terms of scoring, James?
It's not high.
31st in the league.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, there's 32 teams. So we're second in scoring. This guy's getting paid the highest out of any coordinator in the league. Of course, he just won at Ohio State the year before, but he's not doing a good job. And listen, the Cowboys, yet again, not a team with a great defense. This is a team that gave
one of the worst defenses in the league.
They gave up 44 to the Broncos, 22 to the Commanders, 30 to the Panthers, 40 to the Packers, 31 to the Bears, 37 to the Giants. I mean, so now the Raiders don't score a touchdown to the fourth quarter. Nope. They got 3 field goals through 3 quarters. I mean, it's actually a disaster, and I don't want to hear anymore about the O-line or Geno or anything. I really just think if you can't score points on the Cowboys, you're bad.
Well, we know they're bad.
Geno Smith had more rushing yards than Ashton Genty.
We know they're bad. I'm with you. When we first decided that this was the topic we wanted to go with, I didn't want to say Chip Kelly because, you know, you always want to point to the head coach. You always want to point to the quarterback. But if you look at it, and I know you said you don't want to hear about the O-line, there is no... It's horrible. It's hard to watch. Geno is just getting harassed play after play, and I understand Geno hasn't played well, but it's because he doesn't have a second to even think, let alone throw the football.
But we've seen that a lot.
But
there's a lot of teams with bad O-lines.
Right.
The
But
Eagles
Geno,
in the face of the Lions this past week, we saw.
Let's not put
Matt
the Eagles.
Stafford getting harassed. His O-line. I mean, so there's a lot of teams with O-line players.
No doubt, and I'm getting to Chip Kelly here.
Yes.
The O-line's been horrible. And thus, Geno Smith has been horrible, who is not good enough to overcome this kind of poor O-line play. So who does it fall on? Chip Kelly,
right?
Who, as you mentioned, is the highest paid OC in the game. The best offensive coaches in the NFL.
Yeah.
Look at Sean McVay. The average NFL fan couldn't name you a single Rams offensive lineman.
Yeah.
And they get the job done week after week. Kevin Dotson is a guard on that team. He's a perfect example. His career looked like it was about to be over in Pittsburgh. What happens? He goes to Sean McVay in L.A. And the next season, PFF ranks him as a second-team All-Pro.
And why is that?
Because they are just elite offensive minds. I don't know exactly what it is.
It's because coaches who are elite, like a Sean McVay, they take what they're given and they make lemonade.
They make chicken
That's what
soup
they
out
do.
of chicken.
Right. Sean McVay takes a look. He opens up the refrigerator. He sees, okay, I got squid, I got turnips, I got asparagus, and I got some, I got some pesto sauce. He's going to figure out a meal to make with that.
Right.
Whereas Chip Kelly can't do that. Let's go to another call.
Yeah, my name is Mark Trudeau. I'm a 12-man fan of the Seattle Seahawks. It's not Pete Carroll's fault, but it is his fault for not replacing Geno with a second-string quarterback. Geno's not going to do it. He did that up there in Seattle, had a lot of interceptions. Here he's got, 28 to 29 interceptions? And then your offense coach, he needs to get his butt in gear.
All right, thank you so much to Mark. As always, 702-855-3502. People love to talk about Geno. They love to talk about how he's to blame.
There's blame to go all around.
Right. Yeah, we asked everybody, is it Chip? Is it Geno? Is it Pete Carroll? I think this is a team sport. Everybody deserves some blame. I just think if you're the highest paid coordinator in the NFL, you're making $6 million. There's not a lot of guys who are coordinators making over $1 million.
I'm with you 100% on that.
You can't have the second lowest.
No, this has just been atrocious.
Scoring all.
If you're getting paid like that, you are getting paid to do less, or rather do more with less.
Exactly.
And Chip Kelly's not doing it.
He's not doing that. Now, is Geno playing tremendous? No. Is Pete probably really hurting inside? He probably didn't think this is going to be as hard as it is.
No, I think that's a great point, actually. Coming in here, I think he is now fully understanding what kind of a mess he walked himself into.
Because here's my question for you, James. They are 2-8, 1-4 at home. Not good. They got the Browns, the Chargers, the Broncos, the Eagles, the Texans, the Giants, and the Chiefs on the rest of the schedule. 2-8 right now. I think this is a max 2 more wins. Maybe 3, but I think max 2 more wins. And you're hoping you're going to maybe beat the Browns, and they got a great defense. You're hoping, okay, maybe the Giants or the Texans, but you're not beating the Chargers, the Broncos, the Eagles, or the Chiefs. So, I think you're looking at maybe 3 wins, 4 wins this year.
And I think a lot of Raiders fans, a lot of smart Raiders fans, would be glad to hear that. And I've been pounding this drum for the last 95 weeks that we have done this show. Lose out, get picked because this roster is atrocious, and it's not going anywhere without a lot of draft capital and a lot of help.
You start seeing how the roster construction here is just weak. And, we have a new GM in SpyTech. The past GM, he's already out of the building. So, there's a lot to be done here, but this is not going to happen overnight. And a lot of analysts thought, hey, Pete comes in, changes the culture. He might have changed the culture. I don't know. But it doesn't mean it's going to translate to wins in year 1. Let's get to another quick call.
Yeah, who's at fault for the Raiders season is the politician who sold them the public off by building the stadium and giving them the people's money to begin with. You got the guy, the owner, Al Davis' son, living in a $17 million home up on the mountainside, supposedly looks like Allegiant Stadium, but yet he needs the people's money to go build him a stadium, and he's, a millionaire? So I blame the politician, and sad for the fans. They should have got their own team, but they'll be stuck with the dark cloud, and hopefully they never win. So they'll learn the hard way.
All right, thanks so much for that call. Here's the thing. I'm just going to say it. This is my take, James. The blame is Chip Kelly. That's the first person that I'm pointing blame.
That's number one.
That's number one to
Got
me,
it.
and
Okay.
it starts and ends there. What's the last thing you want to say?
I'm with you that the Chip Kelly is most to blame, but there is plenty of blame to go all around here, starting with Mark Davis and Tom Brady for hiring Pete Carroll, who, as we know, older defensive coaches are a bit stuck in their ways, and we're seeing Pete Carroll be a little bit that way with Geno, Jamal Adams, other guys from Seattle they have brought in. They got his kid on the staff, and then him bringing in Chip Kelly, who's not been what we were hoping he would be. All I want to say is that there's just a lot of blame to go around, but I agree with you that number one is Chip Kelly.
And I think the most disappointing thing is you think you got to hang your hat on something in this league. That's just how the NFL works. You don't have to be the best team in the NFL and do everything great and do special teams, offense and defense well, but you got to hang your hat on something. And right now, the Raiders, they don't do anything well. And that's the most concerning thing, is that you can't even pinpoint one thing they do. They don't run the ball well. They don't pass the ball well. They don't defend the ball well, the rush well. They don't defend the pass. Like, what do they do good?
We brought this up when Pete got hired, and it was the floor was going to raise. Right? They weren't going to be bad. They were at least going to be competitive. And that has not been the case, and that is very much concerning to me.
It's crazy on Monday Night Football. Max Crosby gets a strip sack.
Yeah.
Right off the top of the game. And you can't
punch it in the end zone.
You can't punch it in the end zone.
You're at home.
You can't take the momentum with that. You're at home. It's Monday Night Football. It's national TV. It's like, it's starting to get pathetic.
I know your answer to this question, but are you out on Pete?
I can't be out on Pete yet, because I do think you have to give somebody a chance like that who has done so much in the league. So I'm not the guy who's saying you don't fire Dable midseason. I just don't like that.
Right.
And I don't think you do that to a Pete.
You don't do that to a guy of Pete's caliber. My concern is that he is aging. He's in his mid-70s. Are we seeing a little bit of what happened with Belichick on his last leg in New England? Is that happening to Pete Carroll, but in Vegas?
It could be.
And that's what's concerning to me, seeing the way that they just have been non-competitive.
It could be. It's getting bad. The struggles are bad. But right now, I'm pinpointing Chip Kelly. You can't be making $6 million a year, be the highest paid coordinator in all of the NFL, and be 31st in the league in scoring. You just can't. You can't do that. All right, guys, coming up after a short break, we got the Hall of Famer, the Lakers legend. He's in the studio with me, James Worthy, talking LeBron, Luka, NBA Cup, and so much more.
Hi, I think Geno Smith should go. He's so inconsistent. He's horrible. Geno Smith's got to go.
I got Big Game James with me. James Worthy, Hall of Famer, 3-time champ, first overall pick, 1982 draft. You've done it all. Hall of Famer. I mean, James, it's great to be with you. This is where I want to start. We got a lot of great Lakers, right? You play with Magic. You play with Kareem. All these legends, Kobe, Shaq. Now we got Luka. We got LeBron. But you and Kobe and Magic, you guys played your whole career with the Lakers. That's a special thing, right? There's a difference there.
It really is. A lot of my friends who've played for other teams, sometimes they'll cheer for this team, they'll cheer for this team. They'll be loyal to two different teams. I've only been loyal to one team, and it's the only team that I know. So my years there with the Lakers under Jerry West and Dr. Buss and Pat Riley were the best. And so I know no other way, but the Lakers. I can't say like Robert Horry that I've been to San Antonio, I played in Houston. I guess those experiences are nice, but being in one city has been really cool.
There's something special about that. But let's go back to before Lake Show stuff, before Showtime Lakers, Ashbrook in Gastonia, North Carolina. You play high school, you were All-American, all that kind of stuff, parade, McDonald's, all that good stuff. You go to the UNC, and you said to me before the show even started, you weren't going to go anywhere else. It was always UNC for you. So you go play, you're there with Dean Smith, a legend, right? You put on those baby blues. What did it feel like when you put on that Chapel Hill UNC colors and you're playing for a legend?
Yeah, I love Coach Smith ever since I was like in 14 years old. I went to basketball camp there in the 9th and 10th grade all through high school.
Oh, okay.
So I knew a lot about the program. I knew Coach Smith. I loved the way he coached and the way he treated his players. Like, he required you to go to class. He wanted the players to be a part of, the student body, and he was very conscious. It didn't matter if you were Michael Jordan or you were Michael, Davis, the ball boy, right?
That's
so
me.
Didn't
That's me.
matter. So everybody was equal. I had a great experience there.
Right.
And but after winning in '82, it was Coach Smith who actually encouraged me to enter into the draft because he thought it was good time, and just so happened that Ralph Sampson stayed at Virginia.
Right.
And that made me available for the Lakers at the number 1 pick.
First overall pick, Dominique goes 3. But when you're at UNC, I believe in The Last Dance, you were talking about. Thanks so much to the Hall of Famer James Worthy. For the full interview, go to our YouTube page, Silver State Sports.
You're watching Sound Off Sports, sponsored by Silver State Schools Credit Union.
Yes, hi. I'm originally from Los Angeles, and I migrated up here to Las Vegas several years ago, but I have been a Clipper loyal fan since 1986, and this message is really for Steve Ballmer. He made a mistake in not bringing the Clippers up here. He thought just by moving them out of the Staples Center and building that arena in Inglewood that would be it. L.A. is always going to be a Laker town. Clippers are always disrespected, so they should be here in Vegas. This would be their town. So now Shaquille O'Neal and LeBron James are working in partnership to bring an NBA team here in Vegas. Vegas needs a basketball team. All the other sports have been put here, hockey, girls basketball, the Raiders, okay, they suck. But yes, I agree. NBA in Las Vegas needs to be here, especially the Clippers. Bring the Clippers here.
All right, welcome back to SOS. Mike Davis, James Everett Barrickman, the fourth with you. We asked everybody at home, will the NBA still bring a team to Las Vegas with this whole gambling probe going on? We got a lot of good responses on this. James, here's my take.
Hit me.
Did a lot of research on this. So here's the big issue. These billionaire owners, they don't want to do more revenue sharing than they already have to. Now you got the NBA on NBC again. You got Amazon Prime. You got ESPN. They signed an 11-year, $76 billion deal. That's the new TV deal that all these billionaires are getting, all the NBA owners. They don't want to split that baby up. Now, the NBA's got 30 teams. Expansion would mean 2. Everybody's thinking maybe Seattle, maybe Vegas. That's kind of what people are thinking. Even James Worthy was here on the show in the full interview. You'll see he said he thinks Vegas should have a team. He thinks the All-Star game should be in Vegas every year. Here's the problem, though. I actually think it's going to be relocation rather than expansion.
Interesting.
There's 4 teams that I think...
Are the Clippers on that list?
No,
okay.
Because I think it's a smart idea. I believe LA is a Laker town, Laker City, but they're not moving after that arena. That's not happening with Ballmer. So the Grizzlies, the Pelicans, the Trailblazers, and the Kings are the 4 teams that I all think could be considered for relocation. So if a team comes to Vegas or Seattle, it's going to be relocation rather than expansion. I don't see the NBA going to 32. I don't think these billionaires want to chop up any more of the pie. That's my take. Now, this is what's interesting, though. Mexico City
that was
could be a
name
place
on the list, right?
Now, Mexico City's got a bigger population than New York, LA, Chicago. So that's interesting. And we all know about what we've done with the G League here in the Capitanes. That could happen. But it's been 20 years since the NBA has done an expansion team. And in 2004, that was the Charlotte Bobcats, which was, a whole weird thing in itself. But I actually think the Grizzlies and the Pelicans are the most likely to actually relocate. Right now in the NBA, the average attendance, like if you're really on the high end, it's like 19,000 a game. The Grizzlies are at 15. So it's a lot. It's the lowest in the league.
Even with Ja.
So, Ja's off and on the court. He's got the off-the-court issues, all that stuff. I think the Grizzlies are a big contender. I think the Pelicans are a big contender because they never really got situated there, from the Hornets to the Pelicans, all that stuff. Trailblazers are interesting because Paul Allen's estate, who passed away, that can maybe transition into a Seattle franchise. And I think the Sacramento Kings with all the movement in the Bay Area and all that stuff happening in the league, from a California perspective, maybe they go to Vegas. Maybe they go to Seattle. So I think it's going to be relocation rather than expansion.
Because the owners don't want to give up any more of the pie.
That's
is
why
what you're saying.
But I still think Vegas happens. I still think Seattle happens. I just think these lower tier franchises are going to end up moving somewhere else where a good arena happens, all that kind of stuff.
Vegas and Seattle are just such better basketball markets than more than a handful of current NBA markets, in my opinion.
100%. Now, is the gambling issue, is that probe going to cause problems? I don't think so. But I could see how Seattle and Mexico City happen rather than Vegas. I do think those would be the three biggest candidates. Nashville's also maybe on the fringe, but I think it's really Mexico City, Vegas, and Seattle. We'll see what happens. Guys, coming up after a short break, we're talking Las Vegas A's. Can they make the playoffs? That's next in Sink or Swim.
Oh, no, don't bring no NBA team here. You're ruining Las Vegas with all the sports. You're putting everything up on the strip, crowding it up and everything, and I think it needs to be stopped. I'm a football and baseball. Bringing the A's here, that was ridiculous also. They're a losing team. You bring losing teams in here, and that's what sucks.
All right, welcome back. Sink or Swim time, James. We want to talk about the A's.
Yeah.
Okay? Fresh off Nick Kurtz winning Rookie of the Year. Is this a team that makes the playoffs next year? And I think you and I are both aligned here.
That's an easy yes.
They have a great roster.
Kurtz, Wilson, Rooker, Butler, Langoliers, Soderstrom, that lineup in and of itself is good enough to get you to the playoffs. What they need is arms, third lowest in total ERA, fourth lowest in runs allowed last year. They need arms, not bats.
Yeah, if they get the pitching figured out, this is going to be a good team very quickly. Guys, thanks so much for joining us here on Sound Off Sports. We want to wish you a very happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you next time. Thanks again. For James, for Jess, I'm Mike Davis. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving with your family.